How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews back with old beer time, I guess. I think. Maybe. We'll see. The form of Ommegang. I haven't done an Ommegang beer in forever. I went proper glassware for you guys. How about that shit? This is their bourbon barrel aged Adoration. This is a dark ale aged in barrels. On the back here, it says savor the season of giving. Brewed with coriander, mace, cardamom, grains of paradise, and sweet orange peel. Then aged in bourbon barrels for at least 6 months. Bourbon barrel aged Adoration continues the Belgian tradition of spiced Noel ales. This beer is to be shared and sipped with friends and family, and whether across the table or by the fireside. May aromas of oak, bourbon, spice, and rich layered flavors haunt your house pleasantly. I bought this today. Not too far away from where I live, and I don't know how old it is. It's got a little bit of age on it for one particular reason. This label's been retired, I think 2 years ago. So I think it's either a 2018 or 2019 bottle, because I believe in 2020 they rebranded this label. This didn't come available in this label to 2018, so it can't be older than 2018, can't be newer than 2019. It is 2021, so take that into account. But it was on a shelf by me, super dusty bottles. This one's not all that dusty because I cleaned it off. I was trying to find a bottle date on it. I couldn't find anything, to the point where I actually wrote Ommegang and asked on their Instagram. I'd be like, hey, I can't find anything about this beer. How do I find it? But they didn't get back to me. But I was like 2.5 hours ago, so I'm not going to sit here and say I'm angry at them. They'll probably get back to me eventually. But I'm reviewing it because I wanted something. I went out today to get some provisions because we're getting 2 feet of snow tomorrow. And by provisions, I meant beer. And this has been on the shelf at a local place by me for quite some time. Like a couple 4-packs of it. And the other day I drank a beer, like a beer I wanted to save for a review, but I didn't want to review it, so I drank it because it was a big, dark, bold beer. And I realized I didn't have a big, rich, bold beer in my kind of like, you don't have to worry about it fucking pile of beer. Like I have a pile of beer that's like, you can drink the shit out of this. Don't review it. Just if you want a beer, drink this. I didn't really have anything big, so I was like, okay. I'm like, I'll pick up a 4-pack of this. It's dusty. It's old. Let me see. Oh, yeah, there's a nice Merc ring on this. So this has... Oh, wait. Oh, fuck. I just found a date. I couldn't see it. It was on the neck until I poured it. Best by... Oh, okay, it's not super old. It's 2018. So there you go. So we're talking about a lot. 2018... May 20th, 2018 is when it was bottled. So you're talking about 18, 19, 20, 21, so it's 2.5 years old. So there you go. Couldn't see it. It was like the dark ale was obscuring the date on it. So there you go. Now I know how old it is. So 2018 bottle, and it pours what I would expect from a traditional Belgian brewery. I mean, you're talking about Ommegang. They're about as traditional of a Belgian brewery you're going to get in the United States. You know, they've been owned by Duvel for a very long time. That's pretty much their jam. Due to water brown. Nice, rich, kind of malted malt ball colored head. We're off to a pretty start. So, yeah. Oh, I got that whirl down. That smells fucking awesome. Like, awesome. Like, awesome. Like, really good. It's not sweet enough to be... How do I put this? It's not sweet enough to be sugar daddy level, but it's never gonna get the sugar daddy level. It's gonna morph and change directly into raisinette level, which is my favorite level of all beer to age into. I'm surprised it's even as close, only being 2.5 years old. That bourbon barrel's obviously gonna accelerate that kind of thing, but it's eking towards that. It's getting towards that. So you get this rich kind of raisin characteristic, subtly, these soft bourbon notes. Maybe a slight touch of an undersweetened kind of chocolate. So the components are there for it to get into that chocolate-covered raisin thing. It's just not completely there yet. But you know, you have that soft breadiness that you typically get from a nice, rich kind of Belgian dark. And Ommegang's beers typically skew a little bit drier in the yeast profile, which I think will help this beer leaps and bounds, because you're talking about Belgian dark, so you're talking about an inherently sweet beer with a bourbon barrel, which is going to add more sweetness. So it's nice to have that, I wouldn't say hyper-aggressive dry yeastiness, but something a bit aggressive than a more standard Belgian yeast, and it just has this richness to it. I could see this even going a little bit savory at some point in a good way, but it smells really nice. It smells decadent in a very it's not an old beer, but it's not a new beer. It's like a tweener beer. I'm just diving in. Just dive in. Cheers. That's fucking delicious. Holy shit. Wow, that's fucking delicious. Man, I'm fucking blown away. This is fucking delicious. Ommegang, why don't I fuck with you no more? I moved away. Not that you don't get Ommegang here in Jersey, we do. I don't know why. And I've been staring at this 4-pack. They have like a fucking whole case of them on this shelf at this weird podunk little liquor store that no one ever goes to. It's like like you walk in and there's beer or liquor and shit everywhere. You turn to your left, there's beer, but it's like you have to keep like whittling through this kind of like smaller and smaller rooms till you get this corner of the fucking building and there's craft beer. But even then you don't see this stuff. You have to kind of walk past the cooler and turn around and look back behind some boxes, and there's like a bunch of old shit there. And this is sitting there, and I've eyed it up for over a year. I'm like, should I buy it? Should I buy it? Should I buy it? And today I finally said, fuck it, I'll buy it. I'm glad I bought this. Good God. So I've talked about this flavor profile in the past many a times, but I don't think I've ever attributed it to a Belgian beer before. And before you get your panties in a bunch, YouTube, I understand it's from New York. It's not a Belgian brewery. It's a Belgian beer. Fucking deal with it. I'm not going to fucking semantically say Belgian style. Stop. Anyway. I've never really associated that with that grandma candy thing is what I'm going to talk about. I'm talking about, you know, the Whitman's thing where you pull it off and it has a plastic top and it has the outlines of all the candy with written what is the candy, the plastic sheet. You know what I'm talking about. And there's some really cool beer flavors, or really cool beers that it kind of veer into the flavors of those candies. You know, you have your peanut butter beers, your red cordial cherries, your kind of raspberry chocolate. This is a rum soaked, like, I know this is bourbon, but it's like a rum marzipan is kind of what I'm getting off of this. Candy, grandma candy, rum marzipan, grandma candy, in the most beautiful way. So super soft, drying, effervescent mouthfeel, and that was what I was talking about before I even tasted it. With the way Ommegang's yeast profile, they lean drier. They lean more. It's not an aggressive carbonation; it's a fuller carbonation. And what that does, it helps kind of. It hinders their normal beers, I think, a lot of times. Like a lot of their Belgian doubles and stuff like that tend to come off a little bit too dry for me. A little bit too undersweetened because that way that carbonation comes off. Now, flip the script, you get into this beer which is bourbon barrel aged and has some time on it. Now, we see the fruits of the labor of that kind of carbonation, in that if this beer was a little less full, a little less carbonated, it'd be probably a little bit too sweet for me. But since you get that fuller, bigger, drier carbonation from that yeast on there, it pairs so well with this beer. So you get that beautiful mouthfeel. You get that Belgian fruitiness. You do get those kind of cherry notes, a little bit of date and fig kind of vibes in there. And it just kind of slides in slowly to like a subtle pruny going into raisin kind of vibe that then just mashes with that bourbon and ends up being that once you put all those flavors and bits and pieces and that sweetness together, you get that marzipan-y rum-soaked marzipan thing I was talking about. This is fucking delicious. This is fucking delicious. I have 3 more of these in my fridge. That's 3, not that. 3. This is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I'm so glad I picked this up. And I can go buy more. It was $18 a 4-pack. That's probably... I think this probably ended up... That's pricey. And not pricey for what I'm getting flavor-wise. I think it's well worth $18 a 4-pack. But I think these can be had for closer to $15 a 4-pack. I think it's just where I bought it. They mark shit up. But I was in the mood for something big, rich. Something I can crack and just enjoy. And I think I got absolutely 100% got my money worth on this one, though. Yeah. 2.5 years old. Aging beautifully. I think it still has some time in it. So let's go there. I think this has years left in it. The way this beer is progressing, what I'm getting flavor-wise, they have a best by date on that bottle that I could see after I poured it of 2023. I think that might be spot on. I think there's about 2 more years on this thing until it really starts to tail downward. So good on Ommegang for that dating, man. Sometimes they put the best by dates and it's kind of arbitrary. I think it might be perfectly aligned for this beer now. So I wouldn't... this is a perfect one. If you see it on the shelf, you're not going to be able to see the date. I'm going to tell you right now. It's right here. It's always on... I know it was on the neck. I know where they keep their dates. It's right here, but there's no way I could see it on actually until I poured the beer. If you have these in your cellar, and you have multiples, I urge you to crack one now, just to taste it, because it's aging really well. But I think in a couple of years, two years, give or take, it's going to be max and be a very beautiful beer. And just absolutely fantastic. Listen, these are some of the beers, like I said, podunk little fucking place close to me. You know, nobody's going to pick this up. I can let those sit on the shelf and pick them up at my leisure. Yeah. Ommegang. Good on you guys. I don't drink enough Ommegang. I don't drink enough Belgian beers. I don't drink enough Belgian darks as of late. I've really got to change that. Yeah. There you go. Back to the review. Anyway, let's talk about this. Is this one of the better Belgian influenced beers? There you go. Fucking people, so you don't get super angry at me, that have had as of late. Yes, Mount Rushmore status. Is this one of the better barrel-aged beers I've had as of late? Fuck yeah. It should be Mount Rushmore status. You know, it is. I'm putting it in. Because people are going to be like, really? You're going to put fucking Ommegang in the Mount Rushmore? Yeah, because it's that good. The balance between the sweetness and the way the beer comes off, and how the carbonation treats that sweetness, and the drinkability and the availability of the beer. I can go buy some more right now if I want. Plop $18 on the counter and get 4 of these. Fuck it. Not Rushmore says. I like this beer. I love this beer. I have adoration for this. Oh, see? What did I do there? Yeah, I adore this beer. And leave you with, if you like what we like this. If you like Belgian beers, if you like barrel-aged beers, if you like aging beers, and you like malty beers. I mean, you're really, the only way you don't like this is if you don't like malt-forward beers, to be perfectly honest with you. It's holding up really well. I didn't get much as far as any kind of negativeness, as far as any oxidation. It's just aging beautifully. So if you like Belgian beers and aging beers and bourbon barrel-aged beers and beers in general, how about that? You'll like this. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massif if you want to check me out doing the podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of barrel-aged Adoration right now. Yeah. Hope we'll see you next time. Cheers.